everyone. Thank you for coming, Evie Unbounded. Today, I have a girlfriend of mine on the show, and you guys see her all the time. She's like, she and I had to wake up in the early morning and go boxing. So, she even dressed up for me. I'm so honored. I'm like, I'm so happy. She looks so pretty. She's always pretty, but she was like, she even do her makeup for me today. Anyway, I'm gonna welcome my girlfriend Felicia. Felicia, who is the owner of BoxUnion. We were thinking about going boxing tomorrow morning on Saturday, but hi Felicia, I'm so glad I finally got you on my show. Yay! So
Yay.
tell me about BoxUnion, how you started BoxUnion and stuff.
Yes. No, Evie, it is really funny because I know most of the time you see me, I have no makeup on, my hair's in a ponytail, and then I just get really, really sweaty. But I'm also so grateful that you took a chance, and I know you were intimidated to try BoxUnion for the
Yes.
first time. And I told you, I promise everything is going to be okay. And you've become such an amazing supporter. So thank you, thank you, thank you. A little bit about BoxUnion. Well, BoxUnion is a company I co-founded in 2016 with my business partner, Todd Wadler. We opened our first location in Los Angeles in April of 2017, and it is a premium boutique boxing fitness studio.
It's so fun, by the way. Just want to let you know. I know I just have to say it because you're right. I was intimidated by it at first when you said you want to go boxing, and I'm like, hey, I don't know. I picture boxing to be like a guy sport. I don't know, right? So, but yes, go on. It was totally not that. It's totally fun. Yes.
Well, and you're not alone. A lot of people, when they hear the word boxing, the immediate reaction is, oh my God, I don't want somebody to punch me. And
Yeah.
it is a very masculine sport. And part of what got Todd and I so excited about starting BoxUnion was twofold. One is I had an experience with boxing at a very young age.
Oh,
So
wow.
growing
Okay.
up, my mom's father, he had been an amateur boxer. He had fought in the Golden Gloves in Pittsburgh. And although he didn't box by the time I was born, he loved watching boxing and
Oh,
watching
I didn't know
fights.
that.
So I grew up like with
Okay.
an appreciation of boxing and really enjoyed watching boxing matches with my Papa Harry. Fast
Hmm.
forward to my junior year of high school, I was 16 years old, and my father died suddenly of a heart attack that spring. And when school let out for summer, I looked in the yellow pages because the internet did not exist. And I actually sought out a boxing gym. I had a lot of sadness. I was also really nervous and worried to like sleep at night without my dad being in the house. I had grown up having had two different I always forget if it's burglary or robbed when you're actually home, but twice in my life that
Oh,
had
really?
happened. And so I wanted a way to protect myself. I also had a
Do you
lot of
have
like,
brothers, sister? I mean, do you have any, I guess,
no, there's
brother?
no men. No, I'm the middle of three girls.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And my older sister is, a lot more petite than I am. And, my younger sister was 4.5 years
And you're
younger.
pretty. So I'm
Well,
like,
yeah, but
yeah.
I'm the big one of the three of us.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so, going to this like boxing gym in downtown San Diego was exactly what you would think of when you traditionally think of a boxing gym. It
Mhm.
was, smelly. I think I put on hand wraps that had never been washed before. Like to this
Yes.
day, like if I think about it, I still can like smell what they smelled like. And I put on these gloves that were like wet inside.
Yes.
But,
Yes.
hitting the bag was a really cathartic experience. And I also felt like this inner badass had been unleashed inside of me the moment I put on a pair of gloves. And the thing that's so fun about BoxUnion is you see people come in and they're like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. And, disclaimer, you can do it. It's a really welcoming environment. At BoxUnion, it's a very dimly lit room. Everyone has their own individual heavy bag. The bags are filled with water. They're surrounded by foam, so they're designed to be more absorbent on your joints, and everything we do in that room, we do to
Mhm.
the rhythm of the music. So we've taken what's traditionally a very individual sport, and
Mhm.
we've made it this really fun communal environment. So when Todd and I were thinking about doing something different and leaving our respective corporate jobs, I had always known I wanted to do something in fitness. For me, fitness.
What were you doing before opening the gym? By the way, talk about the glove, how dirty and gross. I literally wanted to grab my bag over there because in my gym bag right now, it has your boxing union glove. I had to show everyone.
Yeah.
So when you go, they give you this,
Yeah,
like
you get
you
some
can
quick
you
wraps.
and this is so much easier because I don't know how to rap. I don't know if other women feel the same way as I do, or maybe just me. I don't know how to rap, and this and I don't. I I think it's also I'm impatient, so I'm like, what? I have to rap. So this one you can literally just put it on. It's so
Yeah.
much easier, and you got offer. If you don't have your own boxing glove, you gotta also have boxing glove there. So and it's
Yes.
clean.
It's
Yeah.
very clean because we invest in very expensive glove dryers, and we have a protocol
Yes.
whereby after each class, the gloves like sit on the glove dryers. These are industrial grade, hospital grade dryers that have been like tested and used in like children's hospitals. So we
Wow.
dry the gloves, and then we don't use them again for another 24 hours. So definitely like
Wow.
the
Yeah,
cleanliness
because
and making sure that our environment is not that like, scary, stinky environment.
it's
It was
not.
really,
It's clean.
no, yeah, was
Yeah.
really important to us.
And like I said, I love this. And yeah, I have really, it was such a clean place for me to go. And the music was great. It's almost like you're in a club.
Yeah.
Like you're working out in the club and you get your aggression out. But anyway, I just want to show people that because you mentioned that. But go on. I'm sorry. I was
Yes.
like, you
No,
guys
no,
see
I love
this.
it. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you have the props because I don't have any props by me right now. But prior to that, in college, if you were to ask any of my friends, are they surprised what I'm doing now? They would say absolutely not. Because I used to talk about in college that I wanted to do something in fitness, but I had student loans. I graduated school a couple quarters early because I wanted to minimize the amount of student loans. I was really eager to be financially independent. My younger sister, still needed to go to college, and I wanted to just be able to support myself. So I worked for a number of really large corporations in a variety of sales and marketing capacities. So my first employer out of undergrad was a company that no longer exists called Sun Microsystems. Sun Microsystems basically built all the servers that powered the internet. And it was kind of funny because I thought I was going to go to law school. So, I mean, kudos to you, Evie, for going to law school because
I don't know if that's the right thing, but
I had like a breakdown my junior year of college when I was taking all these pre-law classes, bombing the LSAT, being like, I can't stand reading contracts. I like
it's boring. It's
it's boring.
boring.
And I don't understand why they just can't write in normal English. Like to me, I can't decode
I,
contracts.
I
So
don't know either. So
I,
yeah.
I decided no law school, ended up going to work for a company that was, helping to create the internet that we know today. And I barely knew how to use my Mac. And I was, working for this very high tech company. And it was just such a great opportunity. I started in a marketing role and then immediately
Marketing.
transitioned into sales, which I had always thought was such a dirty word and thought, I can't sell like, that image I had in my head was around, used car salespeople. But my bosses, who were, brilliant, amazing mentors, said, like, listen, if you want to be able to do anything, they said, first of all, everything in life is about sales. And anytime you're doing anything, whether you're going on a job
Oh
interview,
my
whether you're
God, it's
meeting a
so
new friend,
true.
it's all sales. So having those skills and knowing how to talk to people is really important. when I left Sun Microsystems, a couple of my bosses took me with them, and we went to this other internet startup that was in the business to business procurement space. That company ended up getting acquired by Accenture for our debts and liabilities. So it wasn't like one of those amazing, .com stories that you've heard
Okay.
about where people's companies got acquired for
Yeah.
gazillions of
That's what I
dollars.
thought.
That was
Okay.
not, I got severance. I got 3 months. And that was like the first time I'd ever, not had a job and had,
Uh-huh.
some money. And I moved to LA because I'd met my husband in San Francisco, and he had started a business, and his business was in LA. And when I came to LA, I knew I still wanted to work for a big company, but I didn't feel like LA at the time had a lot going on in the technology space. So I actually went to work for Mattel doing Barbie marketing.
Oh
And
my
yes, I
God.
know. I worked on Barbie accessories. I had Barbie's little sister, Kelly, and I had those
Do
Barbie styling
boxing.
heads. I know. I know, right?
Oh my gosh.
And then while I was at Mattel, I went to UCLA and I did their fully employed MBA program because those bosses early on told me that having an MBA was a good idea. In hindsight, that's a whole nother discussion we can have on whether or not, I think that was important or not. I think it definitely helped
Yeah.
me solidify things that I know I like to do and things that, I know I don't like to do, and where I know it's better to get people, who like I find it's great. My business partner is a former investment banker.
Okay.
He like speaks in, balance sheets, and Excel is like his love language. Me,
I
on the
don't
other
know
hand,
that's yeah. I'm
yeah,
like,
the other
Felicia, I don't see you doing that.
no, that is not me. That is not my personality. So definitely partnering with somebody who has very complementary skill sets is incredibly
Yes.
important. But I then went to work for Sony Corporation of America and helped them develop and build a influencer marketing program before influencer marketing ever existed. This program was called Cierge, and it was all about introducing tastemakers, celebrities, and high net worth individuals to everything that the world of Sony had to offer, whether that was hosting private screenings of Sony films before they were out in the theaters, to providing early access to Sony electronics. And that was a tremendous amount of fun. I was there for 8.5 years. It was an unbelievable company to work for. It was a great experience. I was able to, finish business school. I was there. I, had my son,
Wow.
and I finally got to a point where I didn't feel like there was much more that I could do. But my husband was a serial entrepreneur. So I always had the role of the steady paycheck, the health insurance, and he was high risk, high reward. And my love of group fitness led him to develop an app because he saw my frustration. I was going to this boutique fitness studio. My business partner was going to the same studio. It was a treadmill based workout. And
Huh.
I was so frustrated trying to book my classes from my phone. And by the time I got home to my computer, the classes would always be sold out. And my husband's like, there's got to be a better way. So, anyhow, he built a mobile app to enable me and anyone else who went to the studio to be able to schedule classes from their
Wow.
phones. And then he later on um, got, hundreds and then thousands of studios using his branded mobile app. And he
Oh,
sold
I
his
didn't know
company.
that.
Yeah. So he sold his company to a larger company that still exists called Mindbody.
Oh
And
yeah, we use
yes,
that. Oh, we
yes.
use that for Box Union
No, well,
too.
we don't use that for BoxUnion. I
Which
did
one
in
do
the early
we
days.
use?
We use Club
Okay.
Ready right now for
Oh,
BoxUnion,
okay.
but Mindbody is, unbelievable. And he was the mobile solution for Mindbody.
Oh
And anyhow,
wow.
so that gave me the freedom and flexibility. My business partner is a very accomplished investment banker. He was a founding partner of a firm called Moelis. Moelis is international. He was employee number 3. He was there with
No, you
them
got lucky.
when they went public. He worked for Ken Moelis for years prior to Ken starting Moelis. And, he wanted to do something in the space. So I had this personal connection to boxing, knew firsthand just how unbelievably empowering it is and how cathartic it is.
I
He
I
was
don't I don't think there was any boxing like yours, even now, I can't think that many that have that. But when you started, was there any competitor?
There's a lot of places in LA that you could box, but a lot of
But
them,
not like yours,
not
like
like,
just the
no,
boxing. Yeah.
no, there are a lot of them are boxing gyms. They're started by
Yeah.
former boxers. They kind of operate a circuit style workout and they're amazing. They provide, a great experience, but I had a hard time getting any of my friends to go to those places because, they were intimidated. They
Yeah.
were a little bit, grittier. Um, and
Yeah.
it's funny because when we first opened, a lot of those owners of those concepts were not huge fans of
Huh.
BoxUnion or what we were doing. And I kind of come from a abundance mindset and believe that there's enough for everybody to be
Yeah.
successful. And I would always tell them, like,
It's still different.
I said, I'm not your competition. If
Yeah.
anything, I'm your gateway drug. People are going to come into BoxUnion. It's going to be their first experience.
Hmm.
These are people who would have never had the confidence or courage to go into your location. They're going to fall in love with boxing and then they're going to want to see,
It's
what
true.
else is out there. And they're going to, come into your locations. And I think that really has proven to be true. And there definitely have been other concepts that have come up since BoxUnion started, but nobody to this day uses the BPM theory like we do, where everything we do to the rhythm of the music. And music's not just something we play in the background. It's really like a central part
Oh
of
my
the workout
God, I
and
didn't know
programming.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the music. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm in a club and I go with the rhythm. Okay, so that was blended.
Yes.
Okay. Oh
Yes.
wow.
Yes.
I see. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And you're
So we
right. It's not a competition because I mean, I can speak for myself, and I'm sure maybe other women feel that way because we had this image of boxing gym, and before that, there's a lot of boxing gym where you
Yeah.
go, and they would have a ram that's kind of in the
A
middle.
ring. Yep. Yep.
So it's kind of like intimidating, at least for
Yep.
me.
Yep.
So this is actually an easy way. And then once I like it, now I'm like, okay, I can try this boxing gym because at least I have a basic foundation down. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, okay, go on. Yeah.
Yeah. So we opened our first location in Santa Monica in 2017, April of 2017. And we chose Santa Monica. We both live on the west side, and it felt like we wanted to be able to get to the studio quickly. And it also felt like we knew the market enough. So, in terms of like figuring out and finding people who would come and take class, I knew companies that we could potentially market to. I knew like what the schools were around the area that we could try and, market to the parents to come after drop off.
Yeah.
And then we were able and in a fortunate position that we could open up Santa Monica on our own without taking outside funding.
Mm.
And a lot of people told us we were absolutely crazy. LA didn't need any more fitness concepts. And also, what did two people who don't teach group fitness know about owning or operating a boutique fitness studio?
You were good. I
Yeah.
mean, you were really good in the fitness class because I was right next to you, and me and Ellen, our mutual girlfriend, we were just following you. You were
Well,
good.
thank you.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm a good consumer and I've always loved fitness and it's always played a huge role in my life. And there's nothing I love more than, you know, working out with my friends. Like, how
Yeah.
fun is it when we get to meet up on the weekends and take a class and then grab, coffee and chat after? It's
Yeah,
like a win-win.
exactly. Yeah. So from
So,
Santa Monica, yeah. And then,
yeah, so from Santa Monica, we decided to raise some money and we put together a list of people, friends, family that we wanted to ask if they were interested in investing. Again, really helpful to have a business partner who has been an investment banker, because structuring deals, knowing how to go out and, raise money is something that he had a lot of experience doing. We also got incredibly lucky early on. There was somebody who started coming to our fitness studio. It was a husband and wife, and they really fell in love with what we were doing. They have
Mm.
a family office, and said if we're ever looking to raise money, that we should consider talking to them. And they've been invaluable partners. He's self-made private equity individual. She has a law degree, is really involved in empowerment. They're incredibly philanthropic, and their foundation, their family office, invests in a few different pillars. And the fact that BoxUnion was co-founded by a female, that what we were doing inside those four walls was incredibly empowering, resonated deeply with them, and they were consumers of the product. So they've been really instrumental in helping fuel our growth. So we opened our second location in January of 2019, on Robertson, across from the iconic
Yeah.
Ivy restaurant. We thought that would be a
Yeah.
great location because we could pull from, West Hollywood and Beverly Hills. And then our third location in Sherman Oaks, where you and I meet up, was supposed to open in March of 2020. And we had done, so much work. It was probably the first time where we really knew what we were doing when opening a studio. I think they say, third time's a charm. And we had done a lot of pre-marketing. We had a really great pre-sale for founding memberships. And we all know what happened. The world came to a stop with COVID. And we immediately went online. We have great coaches who were like, we have to keep our membership engaged. And within a few weeks, we stood up a subscription service called BoxUnion Digital. And it was a great way for us to keep people employed. It was a great way for us to keep, revenue coming in. And that was fun too, because now BoxUnion got to extend beyond like our physical environment. So individuals who had come to our studios and had been talking about their BoxUnion experience with friends or family members who lived in other cities, states, countries, were now able to experience what BoxUnion was from their own living room. And
wow, I haven't took any virtual class yet, just because I would just go with you, and then we can have coffee afterward.
And I have to say that during COVID, like, virtual was really great to have. I'm the type of person where I know how to work out at home. So there definitely are times where, I'll work out, in my garage because I'm short on time, or if I'm traveling, like having that freedom and flexibility to just open the app and do something with a brand and a modality that I'm comfortable and familiar with is amazing. But nothing beats the real life experience of being able to, fist bump the person next to you, or hearing all the chains like rattling inside the room. If I am at home and like it says, okay, we're going to do burpees now, I'm going to be like, yeah, I don't think so. But if like, you're next to me and somebody's next to me, it's like, of course I'm going to, do
well,
it.
I can tell you because you were doing it, and then I feel like, oh, damn it.
You have to do it. Yeah, exactly. Yes. But I'm doing it because the person next to me is doing it.
I know, but I was like, okay, so when that happened, were you nervous? Like, for you to come up with this virtual class made that move very quickly.
Yeah, we did make the move really quickly. And again, a lot of it is we have a really great team of people, and there's a core group who's been with us since the very beginning, and they were all instrumental in making this happen. I should also say that, we had funding. We were actively looking to grow. We had letters of intent signed for locations outside of LA because we wanted to test the concept and see, how would it do in another big city? How would it do in maybe like a tier 2 market outside of California? So there was money. We weren't concerned like, are we going to make it? But we were very concerned with like, what are things going to look like and what is going to be the right strategy for us moving forward. And in an interesting turn of events, we were approached by a much larger brand called Title Boxing Club.
Oh yeah.
Title Boxing Club was started in 2008. They began franchising in 2010. We knew of Title Boxing Club when we started BoxUnion. They really were pioneers in creating this group boxing fitness, heavy bag fitness class. We at that time were not interested in being franchisees because we had a very clear vision of what it was that we wanted to create. And, the value of being a franchisee is that you're getting a business in a box. So it's not up to you to create the recipe, but as a franchisee, you want to execute the recipe as perfectly as possible. Title reached out to us. They were looking at how they could take advantage of COVID and perhaps buy additional locations that weren't doing well and rebrand them as Title Boxing Clubs and expand their footprint. As conversations with Todd and the then CEO of Title Boxing Club continued, what we learned was they were really interested in selling Title Boxing Club. They had a letter of intent from a private equity firm before the pandemic broke out, and the pandemic put that all on hold. And I'll never forget Todd calling me. He was up in Northern California during most of the pandemic while I was, here in my house in LA. And, I was sitting exactly where I am right now. And he's like, I just got off the phone with the head of Title Boxing Club. And I told him that, if he wants to buy us, fine, but I don't think he'll be able to afford what we'd sell for. And if anything, we should buy them. And at that moment, I thought he had really lost his mind. Like, what has COVID done to my business partner and where is he? And the more he started, thinking about it, and I think that's the other, for me, great thing about having a partner is I'm very like tactical and very much like what needs to get done. Like I will get, more things done than most people. And he's got the big, hairy, audacious goals and is thinking like, what are the opportunities that I don't even see? And the more we talked, the more it felt like, wow, this is a really iconic brand that has a tremendous heritage behind it. It has this great footprint and, it's being run by people who are great at selling, franchises, but, maybe we could add a lot of value as owners because we created this really cool, unique concept with BoxUnion.
Yeah.
We're very innovative. We have this culture of learning and development. So it was kind of under that thesis and, with our initial investors that we, on December 31st of, 2020 finished, the paperwork, and January 1st of 2021, we became the owners of Title Boxing Club, which meant overnight we became franchisors, a role that we'd never done. But I think one of our mottos is that everything is figure outable. And, we've spent the last couple of years really understanding that business and bringing forth a tremendous amount of system, structure, and innovation into Title, everything from developing a learning management system, revitalizing the way they taught and what they taught inside the club.
That is so interesting. Yeah. Like it's like reverse, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's having them to make BoxUnion as them. You are making them to become the BoxUnion, which I think I never been to their gym before, but my
Yeah.
idea of them was kind of more older school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And, and they're definitely, it doesn't look or feel like Box Union, but there's a lot of things that we do in Box Union that we brought to Title Boxing Club. And it's been, an unbelievable learning experience. And it's been really fulfilling to come in at a time when people were really defeated, deflated, COVID,
Yeah.
restaurants, at least they had the ability to do this like outdoor dining and have takeout. And I'm not saying that restaurants weren't incredibly impacted, because they definitely were, but fitness, was really hit hard. And especially in LA with Box Union, we were closed for almost 15 months. So to be able to have, Title as a way to, again, continue to keep our employees employed, and as a way for us to continue to generate revenue, take our learnings, take our passion for operating these businesses. But it was a challenging time to take over a fitness concept,
Were you
and
worried? Were you nervous?
a very incredibly nervous. I think
Wow.
anybody, yeah, who says that
Yeah.
they, weren't nervous would maybe not be telling the whole truth. But it felt like, this was a incredible opportunity for us. And, I think the franchise partners, a lot of them looked at us and thought, these people, they have two clubs in LA. They box to the beat of the music. What do they know about,
Franchise,
our
yeah.
franchise, or what do they know about Title, which is a really,
Yeah.
authentic
Yeah.
or boxing fitness workout. But, we told them everything we were going to do, and we did everything we said we were going to do. And we continue to, fixate on, how do we help them improve their businesses? How do we help them become better operators? And how do we all collectively, grow and win? Because when, they do better from a financial standpoint, the nature and economics of franchising is, we do better as the franchisor. So there's definitely, a lot of alignment and a lot of investment that's been put into helping to build.
That was everything was like moving so fast, like I from opening the first one, second one, I didn't think you had that idea you're gonna do franchise. And then
Yeah,
from
we
there,
didn't. And it was COVID that
yeah.
really, prior to COVID, I think if you would have asked us, we would have said, we're going to get to at least, 10 of our owned and operated, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do from there.
Yeah. I mean, what you learn from that? I mean, from there, like how did you move so fast and not be scared? I mean, because I was like, well, you're not scared. So of course I'm
No,
scared.
of
But
course I was scared, but I think like everything is, I mean, everything I've ever done, like I've never known how to do. And it's just like you get in and you figure it out. Like when I started Box Union, like I didn't think about the fact that like, oh, we're going to need gloves. We're going to need, wraps. And I have all sorts of funny stories about, initially, like we went to somebody who was making gloves, and we had, her help us make our first batch of gloves and wraps. And then it was like, well, wait a minute. We could probably be making a lot more margin if we figured out how to like manufacture our own products. So then I became like a student of Alibaba, and I started like researching and figuring out that like the majority of boxing products come from this one area within Pakistan. And I started
oh my
like
gosh.
communicating with
Yeah.
suppliers in Pakistan. And then, next thing you know, I'm like wiring $10,000 to an intermediary in Pakistan
Oh
and
my
paying
God.
in advance for inventory that I don't know if it's ever even going to show up. Fast forward to they send me information saying, your goods are arriving by Etihad, Airway. And I'm like, okay, do I go to the airport and do I go to like baggage claim? And is that where I'm going to get like, I mean, I had no idea. And like, I have so many funny stories, throughout this journey of like just having to figure out how to get things done. And I think that's what like any entrepreneur does. It's like you run through whatever wall you need to, and reach out to other people, or you like make, huge mistakes. And it's from those mistakes that you figure out how
But
to do what you need to get done.
how you even get that in the first place, you know? Because I like to overcome that fear to say, well, I don't know, I just figure out. I'm just gonna go for
Yeah,
it,
I
you
don't know.
know?
It's like maybe there's like some missing brain cells or whatever, but you just do it. But there's a lot of people like this.
It
So yeah,
worked.
exactly.
It
Yeah.
worked. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really interesting because I look at my girlfriend, right? Because I always invite my girlfriend to my podcast, and I'm so blessed to have you guys my girlfriend because I learned so much from every one of you, and I do notice that all of you almost like fearless. I don't know, is it fearless or missing some part of brain? Like you were joking around about it. It was like, what made you guys feel so fearless?
Yeah.
You know, like.
My mom always said, and I don't know that this is like attributed to her, it's probably somebody else, but that, courage is fear that said its prayers. And that's
Yeah.
always like stuck with me.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like it's COVID. It was a scary time for a lot of people, especially for people who have their own business. And like you said, restaurant, at least they can have takeout. And then later on, they have outdoor. I think
Sure.
fitness with boxing union, because I've been there, it's like closed space, just no window, just
Yeah.
music. For sure. I'm like, I don't think they will allow something like that to be open so soon.
No,
So like, for me, I would be so nervous because I'm like, this is my new business. I just having a second one. We just opened a third one. Now what?
I know.
So
No, and
yeah.
during COVID, I was running classes in my backyard. Like anybody who would, we didn't have heavy bags, but we were shadow boxing, which means, just punching the air and doing all of the, high intensity and core work that goes along with the workout. But it's like, you do whatever you need to just keep going.
Yeah. I mean, is that would be the advice you give somebody who want to start their own company and then the younger generation, like other women, they listen to this podcast. Like, what would be the takeaway for them, you think?
I mean, again, everything is figure outable, and just like jump and the net will appear.
Wow. Okay, just like how the teamwork, the team building thing we had to do, like you
Yes, the trust
fall.
fall.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. I always have a hard time with that. My
Yeah.
my legs
It's
shake,
scary. It's
which just doesn't
scary.
make sense, right?
Yeah.
Because somebody gonna catch you for
Yeah.
sure, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like nobody's gonna drop you, your teammate's not gonna drop you. But even with that, you still like afraid to just let
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
No,
my
I
God.
agree.
Yeah. Felicia, thank you so much for finally being like on my show. I know we've been trying to schedule this. I know
I
you were
know.
busy, but I really like BoxUnion. And then I have to say because of you, I have a different perspective about boxing because I thought boxing was kind of more masculine. And I mean, look at me. I'm like, I didn't think I would enjoy
You're
it.
as feminine as they get.
Like I loved it. And then in fact, like after you introduced me to boxing, you and I actually went back on my own because none of you guys can make it. So I had to go by myself and I loved it. And then so I'm so happy you come up with the idea. And I think more women would really enjoy boxing union and especially how you started it and during the COVID, you pivot and then you went franchise. I mean, do you guys have it in other, you saying you have it in other state now, right? Like what other state?
Well, there's title boxing clubs in 28 different states.
Oh,
So there's
wow.
over 120 title boxing clubs. And today, not only do we own our 3 BoxUnion locations in the LA area, but we also own a title in San Diego. We own one in Pensacola, Florida. We own 3 in the Dallas market and 3 in Minneapolis.
Do Box Union have some flavor style to them now? I mean, because I want my girlfriend to go and try it. And then I know my girlfriend probably have the same idea about boxing as I did. So I wanted to try Boxing Union because I think that it would make them like really enjoy boxing, at
Yeah.
least it's like an open gate for them. Yeah.
I would say it's really interesting because we use software called Listen 360 across BoxUnion and Title Boxing Club. And it's meant to calculate an NPS score. So how likely are you to recommend BoxUnion or Title Boxing Club to a friend or family member. And it gives people the opportunity, if they want, to add additional comments. And you would not know, based on what people write, who's a BoxUnion customer versus who a Title
Really? Okay.
customer is. So if you go to the tool, you would know, as a BoxUnion customer, you would be like, oh, Title's it's different than BoxUnion. But in terms of like how the customer feels about both workouts, you always hear the same thing. You hear, the people there were so unbelievably warm and welcoming. The coach was incredibly like patient, even though it was my first time. That was so much fun. I can't believe how quickly it went by. Or I feel so much less stress having been able to, whale on a heavy bag for 30 of the 45 minutes of class.
It's almost like a secret, like a guilt pleasure, because when you like punching the bag, it really release your stress. And then at first I was just like, I was kind of like punching a little bit, but then I saw you were really at it. Then I turned around looking at Ellen. Ellen was really at it. Then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. And then once you start hitting the bag, you just like, it really release your stress.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And it's really hard because, we're working on building different combinations. So I can go for a run, and a run will definitely help me with my stress. But when I'm running, my brain is still processing and thinking. When I'm in that room, I have a hard time of thinking about anything else. And it's probably like one of the very few times that I feel like I'm truly present, because the minute I stop being present, then I'm like, okay, what's the combination? Like, what am I doing?
Oh yeah, because they had to teach you the combination. You're right. Yeah. So then you have to follow.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. So that was the reason why it was such a stress release for me. And then I had to pay attention to it. You're right, because there was like different combination, and the teacher, the instructor was so patient. So they always try to do with you a couple times, and then they come around like hit you with the nerve thing, So you really need to concentrate. I mean, it doesn't hurt when they hit you, obviously, but I'm just saying, like,
and they're not really
like
hitting you. It's like if you're doing a slip, they just want to make sure that you're like getting out of the way.
Exactly. But it's fun because it makes you like pay attention to it, right?
Exactly. And they want you. I mean, boxing's a skill.
Yeah. No, I love it.
The other thing that's really fun, because, the more you go, it doesn't necessarily become, easier. You just get better, and there's more things that you can continue to work on and perfect.
Yeah, I want to keep going back. So thank you so much for introducing BoxUnion. I know I'm going to try to go. Actually, I'm trying to plan my schedule. So I'm going to go meet you at 8:30 a.m. I'm going to rush back because I have weight training at 10.
Good for you.
Yeah,
amazing.
I'm just going back and forth, but because I really wanted to do this anyway. But thank you, Felicia. And
thank you, Evie.
I hope I see you soon. I'm going to see you soon. Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Oh, I see you tomorrow. Duh.
Yes.
Okay. See you tomorrow.
Okay.
Bye.